Some of those people are actually Republicans
Is my audio much
because
lower
they
than the
think that
videos?
you're beatable. So much so that they spent around $3 million to boost your candidacy in this Democratic primary race. How will you convince swing voters who think you're too far to the left to support you?
Oh my god. Oh my god. I hate this. I hate that there's this like established fact narrative around this concept where it's like, well, don't you think, like, look, the underlying premise here that Dana Bash is explaining or bringing up as though it's just like firmly established facts is your worldview is far too radical. This is a swing state. Your worldview is far too radical. Like, we're not even going to discuss that, right? We're not even going to discuss whether or not that is a real issue, a real concern. We're just going to jump over and we're going to establish it as a real concern. What's your, how are you going to alleviate this real concern? The way that I ask this question oftentimes is, what do you say to people that claim that you're far too radical for a state like Wisconsin? Dana Bash is not doing that. She's moving past that point to literally say, everyone knows that you're far too radical for Wisconsin. How will you win over the moderates? What will you do to pivot to the center? Why are these things established facts? Why is this the way to win? Why is this the method to win? Especially when it's, lost this past election cycle. As part of the reason why these left flank candidates, these Bernie-crats, are actually doing quite well in these primaries, and the Democratic Party is in a state of panic.
They also know that their candidate is one of the weakest candidates that they could put forth. Tom Tiffany is an election denier and traitor, and he supports a national abortion ban as well as losing health care and supports Americans losing health care, millions of folks across the state. I think with more moderate voters that we recognize that this moment is not just a movement moment, but our coalition continues to grow, and our coalition is bipartisan. Republicans with Hong signs in their yard, that our folks are in rural, urban, and suburban communities. It is incredibly exciting that an Organizing First campaign continues to help communities grow their organizing skills as well and come to support our campaign.
You have been distancing yourself from the National Democratic Socialist platform. I heard you in an interview this morning doing that most recently. In that interview on Fox, you said you don't support, for example, abolishing the Senate.
Look at this. It's always drama. Oh, you're distancing yourself from the National Democratic Socialists of America campaign. Isn't there drama? Why do you hate the DSA? Is it because you're trying to cynically moderate now? First, we established that, like, you're already a dangerous radical for the swing state, and you're going to lose the Democratic trifecta selfishly. Local news wrote about it. Hannah Schroeder. Francesca Hong holds campaign rally in South Milwaukee, August 2nd. U.S. Rep. Ilhan Omar, left-wing commentator, soundbiker, and gubernatorial candidate Francesca Hong stand together on stage at the conclusion of the Hong rally in South Milwaukee High School on August 2nd. Shannon Rupert and other supporters cheer on speakers. It's just photos. You got her parents on there. It's not an article. They didn't write anything about it. It's just photos. Wrong link, I think. No, it is the wrong link because it's just a picture gallery. Maybe if we do this. Nope. Oh my God, I have to be a subscriber. Never mind. New Political Mag cover story. Data center backlash is fueling new political movement. Ariel Wittenberg reports on Justin Pearson and what she dubs the new Luddites. Okay. It's really interesting because like Luddite has a negative connotation associated with it, but like the OG Luddites were also pro-labor. It was a pro-labor working class first movement. I just want to say that Fran winning shows the power of the online left combined with strong local DSA chapters as her entire campaign. We did this chat. Yeah, it's true. No paywall. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I mean, Francesca Hong did not get any major national left endorsements. It was just a people-powered campaign from the start to finish in the primaries, with one exception, of course, Ilhan Omar. But yeah, it is pretty crazy. It's more so just a testament to the power of the local DSA's ground game out here. But it's interesting. Change your tie? No, it's. I'm not going to wear white on white. South Milwaukee, Francesca Hong, a Democratic socialist who's cementing her frontrunner status in the Democratic primary for governor, walked into her Sunday afternoon rally wearing a signature blue pantsuit and grooving to Wisconsin anthem Jump Around. At the podium, Hong could barely get any words over the cheers of the attendees. That's my governor, one shouted with 10 days to go before the August 11th primary. Throughout the 2-hour event, Hong and other speakers sought to challenge the question looming over her campaign. Can Hong translate her grassroots fervor into beating Tiffany? When people want to fight for something together, when they see something they believe in, and they start to believe in one another, I think the Dems are going to have to write a new playbook here, Hong said. Regardless of where your political home may be or how you identify, this is the moment where we must convey and win power for the majority, and that's working class people, she said. Hong's on-stage guests included U.S. Representative Ilhan Omar from Minnesota, who endorsed Hong in April, and left-wing commentator Hassan Piker, who's divided Democrats for previous comments that critics call anti-Semitic and anti-American. But the crowd was fired up for Piker, with some attendees seated in chairs riding for a standing ovation. He alluded to the state's sewer socialist history, saying Wisconsin is where the American socialist movement began long before Zohran Mamdani and Bernie Sanders. The good people of Wisconsin always knew that this wasn't about scary ideas, and it was just about a working class movement that wanted to help out one another, Piker said. A Republican will never be elected in this state again once our movement is done. Hong joined Piker in his Los Angeles studio in June to appear on his Twitch stream. She raised around $60,000 from that event. Piker indicated that at the time he could travel to Wisconsin to campaign for Hong. Piker said August 2nd he campaigned for U.S. Senate candidate Abdul El-Sayed in Michigan the day prior. Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley, who is now running in second place behind Hong, was the first Democrat in the race to say he would not appear with Piker, calling Piker's comments beyond the pale. Oh my God, I forgot. He said that, and then he fucking dropped out because he was at like 6%. We take those. That's another one. That's another Mallory McMorrow situation. Francesca Hong, choosing the campaign with individuals who said America deserved 9/11, called communism an honorable end goal, and believed capital should be killed is certainly a choice, Tiffany said in a statement. Tiffany previously tied Omar's endorsement to his argument that Hong would turn Wisconsin into Minnesota. Yeah, just unfiltered racism, silly reactionary takes. Ilhan Omar has built a career trashing our country and representing the worst elements of the Democratic Party. Francesca Hong is proud to stand right beside her. Wisconsin voters see that for what it is. Insane. Republican Governors Association Communications Director Colin Crompton said in a statement. Piker, introducing Omar, said she was framed as a villain far before I ever got on the scene. Omar said that like her, Hong would become the first woman and Asian American elected Wisconsin governor. Hong is not running to make history, but because she knows people in Wisconsin need a relentless fighter in their corner, Omar said. Crowd skews young, including first-time voters and rally goers. Look at that. Inside the gymnasium, attendees skewed young and mostly under 40. In the latest Marquette University Law School poll, 66% of voters aged 18 to 29 support Hong. Her campaign counted 1,300 RSVPs. Supporters flocked to the merch table for the blue and green t-shirts and took selfies in front of a neon sign that read Hong, proudly serving Wisconsin. Malik Johnson, a local Grammy-nominated cellist, performed Hall & Oates, You Make My Dreams Come True, the pre-rally playlist including plenty of dance hits and MIA's Bad Girls. Looking around this rally, I see students, first-time voters. I see young organizers, people who refuse to accept that politics has to stay the way it has been, said Wisconsin Muslim Civic Alliance Executive Director Fauza Qureshi, the first speaker. Aliyah Hamaidan, who just graduated from high school and will vote in her first election this fall, says she's excited that the first vote I ever do is for somebody that I actually believe in, citing Hong's policies on data centers, childcare, and higher education. Governor Tony Evers, he was really good for the time, but the times are shifting, Hamaidan said. To have him step down and have somebody continue the road into progressiveness, it's huge. Cassandra Harlan, who was attending her first political rally, said Hong showing signs of moderating her message on the debate stage in an interview is a formula that happens with politicians. They can meet somewhere in the middle. I just like the fact that she's kind of antagonizing the right people, Harlan said. I feel like any woman who wants to make history, she can't be well behaved. True. Rally comes as Hong cements front-runner status, moderates message. I like that is, they're going to shift that no matter what. They're going to be like, no, she's moderating her message. To be fair, I don't place a lot of emphasis on pie in the sky idealisms that come from candidates or anyone really. That's why I'm like not as that's why you won't catch me fucking freaking out about people saying like defund the police or even abolish prisons or whatever. It's just like the realm of possibility is an entirely different reality than like what is within the realm of possibility is very different. So it's not, I also understand that it doesn't mean like literally emptying out the prisons tomorrow. She's doing better than Abdul in the initial general election polling, but I kind of think some of it is driven. Okay, dude, Jesus Christ. Hong's lead in that poll. Oh, yeah, Mandela Barnes, who was running in the second place behind Hong in the latest Marquette poll, dropped out the race last week. His decision came amid reporting from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel into allegations that Barnes taking advantage of his role in the party to have sexual encounters with young adult women. Hong's lead in that poll, conducted in late July, was 38%. Just over a third of voters were undecided, including nearly half of voters 60 and older. When undecided voters were pushed to choose a candidate, Hong's lead grew to 46%. Crowley, who was moved into second place since Barnes dropped out, is hitting the trail with Evers. Crowley is backed by Evers and on Friday was endorsed by U.S. Rep. Gwen Moore, a veteran congresswoman from Milwaukee. While Francesca Hong is rallying people who are already in her corner, David Crowley is traveling across the state to meet undecided voters where they are, Crowley spokesperson said on August 2nd. David will continue to reach them this week with a message centered on experience, results, and winning in November. Dude, the establishment has the same formula. It's really funny. It's like, hey, I know that like the times are unstable and people are very frustrated with the way things have gone so far, business as usual politics. But here's more of that for you. Like they don't understand that I think people when they run with this like I have experience, I'm not the shake-up candidate. What they're literally communicating to the voters is like I'm just going to do the same shit that we've been doing already. If you like the shit that we've been doing already that gave you Donald Trump twice, then that's good. Vote for me. And they just genuinely do not understand it. And obviously I don't want to give them any, tips right now. So keep on keeping on. All right. Nothing will fundamentally change. That is the message. And I love that. That's a great message. That is truly a banger message for you guys. I think you should keep doing that. Okay. That's my attitude. The only problem I found with Fran is that she's too soft-spoken. She got to get tough in the general. Yeah, she's very affable. She's great doing retail politics. She's great at that. She's great on one-on-one with voters. She's very soft-spoken. I agree. But if it works, it works. I think she'll be fine. Hong called on her supporters to be radically welcoming to people who aren't ready for democratic socialism, but otherwise didn't cater to the middle in front of her base. At one point, Hong said she would meet U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement with the force and fury required to keep us all safe. The crowd responded with a fuck ICE chant. Hemai Dan, the first-time voter, said she doesn't see Hong as shifting on policy, but shifting in how she addresses voters. She said Hong, going on Fox News, is exactly what she should be doing right now. The fact that she's able to code switch and talk in a different way to maybe help them understand what she's doing is really good, Hemai Dan said. Hopefully, she's going to get a lot more national attention after the Michigan elections are done. I want the national eye to be on this movement. Early in-person absentee voting is underway through next Sunday in the August 11th election, which features the party primaries for governor and some state legislature and congressional seats. Yeah. Speaking of What's retail politics? Like going out to state fairs, kissing babies, that kind of stuff. Like being out with voters, going to the retail storefronts. In 30 minutes, we're going to launch a phone bank. And then after we launch a phone bank, I will be going out to canvas as well. Tony Evers. All right. Tony Evers is trying to play kingmaker in Wisconsin's governor's race. So far, it's not working. One Dem donor said he's leaving the party after Evers' despicable lame duck period and decision to endorse David Crowley. Nice. Are you going to be on CNN later tonight? Yes. Later tonight, I will be on CNN. CNN Doc. This is the most entertaining shit. Yeah, this is a funny moment. Hutch changes his mind about blue no matter who.
I'm almost ready to say, you know what? I'm not even going to, the blue no matter who rhetoric, I'm not doing it anymore. Because it feels like unilateral disarmament, doesn't it? First of all, how much of that particular term is helping the discourse? I have never in all my years on the internet ever once witnessed a productive exchange about the concept of
blue, but it matters who? Root for DSA to lose? Wow. That's so strange. That's so strange, dude. That's such a strange phenomenon. Turns out this guy is just like, ideologically a neoliberal. I was wrong about this. I didn't realize that he was. The guy who said he would rather vote for Jeffrey Epstein instead of me is now saying it's not vote blue no matter who. That's the new sex pest in meta. Root for Abdul and Fran to lose. Oh my God. Why did these guys literally fucking position themselves on the losing side of every issue? This is what happens when it's just like personal spite and resentment are what drive your politics. It's crazy because this is Hassan derangement syndrome through and through. But what I find very odd about it isn't that it's just like online weirdos now. Now you got like party bosses, old bosses. I get D, but why does Hutch hate you? Because Hutch is basically the Destiny dick rider. That's why.
blue no matter who. Every time it's ever come up in my experience, every time I've ever witnessed it come up in other spaces, it's always a shit show. And, it's just, I can't stomach people like Kyle and Crystal weaponizing the concept of blue no matter who.
Wait. Weaponizing the concept of blue no matter who. So it's not, so you're doing that.
To benefit their preferred candidates when these people were never about that life. It's so disingenuous that I don't think it's productive to even push it anymore. You know what I mean? That particular phrasing. I think it's about time we retire it and just be like, you know what? Let's just all stop pretending like this is something that's,
But this was the logical extent of vote blue no matter who. So I guess he's still consistent on that.
We're talking about a guy who
you think Hassan is worse than Jeffrey Epstein. That's what it shows you, Hutch.
brought Jeffrey
That's what it
Epstein
shows
into
you.
this? What is Jeffrey
You
Epstein?
did when you said I would vote for Epstein over fucking JD Vance.
Tell me, what is Jeffrey Epstein's policy platform?
Dude, you don't need.
That's a fair question, isn't it? Isn't that relevant to the analysis?
Like, even his audience is like, Hutch, Epstein raped children, you fucking moron. Like, that's what one of his chatters was saying at that point. Like,
I don't know anything about Jeffrey Epstein's politics. Would he push for a public option? Is he a Medicare for all kind of person? I don't know anything about his politics. The reason why I would not necessarily disqualify Jeffrey Epstein electorally is because first we would have to establish if he supports liberal democracy. Because the whole thing with Hassan is that he doesn't. And I had people in my own chat last night that thought I was being ridiculous. Why am I being ridiculous when we're talking about Hassan Piker? Do you trust that he would not nuke Israel? Do you trust that he would not help China invade Taiwan? I'm crazy for being worried about
help China invade Taiwan. Like, I'm gonna fucking swim over there, over the strait, dude. What the fuck? This is Hasanabi derangement syndrome through and fucking through.
our fucking nation's secrets. If we gave power to Hassan Piker, I'm the crazy one who's like, I don't know, what's Jeffrey Epstein?
Yes. Someone said yes. This guy's like, I would rather vote for Jeffrey Epstein over any fucking Republican. Then doubles down and says that he would rather vote for Jeffrey Epstein over me, and now is saying vote blue no matter who. Like, it turns out you just want to vote for Jeffrey Epstein, I guess. Like, if I was the Democratic candidate, it seems he would actually, if I was a Democratic candidate and Jeffrey Epstein, hypothetically, was alive, you know, famous pedophile Jeffrey Epstein was running as like an independent, Hutch would literally vote for Jeffrey Epstein. Well, at some point, we just got to realize, at some point, that just means you want to vote for Jeffrey Epstein. That's it. That's your preference. You're just pro Jeffrey Epstein, like pro voting for him. Maybe you're pro his platform, which I suspect is about lowering the age of consent. Like, I don't know what else Jeffrey Epstein is like really known for. He's being an elite pedophile. So it's really funny that he's like, actually vote blue no matter who. It doesn't work anymore. Sorry, it doesn't work for me anymore.
Policy position when he glorifies the current Chinese Communist Party as like a model of government. I'm the crazy one. Somebody who idolizes Vladimir Lenin, and I'm the fucking crazy one because I don't want to fucking live under an authoritarian leftist regime.
Hutch is a single issue voter. Hutch is a single issue voter. He's pro Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, that's so funny. Anyway, so yeah, the knives are out for our girl, Francesca Hong. So we got to do our very best to keep smiling and motherfucking dialing. U.S. Rep. Haley Stevens had her John McCain moment earlier today when a man told her, "We know you're going to kick that Muslim's butt. Look, that's not what my campaign is about," Stevens told Grant Schwab. If that's not what your campaign is about, why are your voters saying stuff like that? If you have a New York Times subscription, you're one of the big 5 moments in the Michigan State primary. Wait, what? Yeah, I'm wondering why your voters are gravitating towards that kind of sentiment. Interesting. Do we have a paywall remover on this too or no? I would like to read the 5 big moments in the Michigan Democratic Senate primary. "30 minutes to poop is crazy." What? What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Did I miss a rally? You did. You missed it. I did it in the morning, and I started early for it. But you can subscribe and see it in the VOD if you would like to. Shit. Why can't I stop it? Hold on. Oh, no. No. Haley's using deep fried polls to say she would do better against Rodgers. Where can we all see your speech, bro? I'm going to look at the Haley Stevens Walter Master moment. Hold on. Okay. Oh, thank you for the gift article, chatter. Hopefully it won't force me to fucking subscribe. Okay. 5 big moments in Michigan's Democratic Senate primary. Divisions over Israel and high-profile endorsements have shaped the closely watched race between progressive former public health official and a more moderate member of Congress. Michigan's marquee Democratic Senate primary has had twists and turns, heated exchanges, viral moments, and tens of millions of dollars in outside spending. On Tuesday, voters will have their say in the race between Representative Haley Stevens, a moderate, and Dr. Abdul El-Sayed, a progressive former public health official. The outcome could affect the battle for the Senate majority and the future of the party. Prominent Democrats from Michigan and elsewhere have been divided over the candidates whose differences mirror broader intra-party frictions over Israel, electability, and other matters. Polling conducted over the last month has suggested uncertainty in the race. Most recently, several public polls have shown Dr. El-Sayed leading. Here's a look at some of the biggest moments from the campaign. Hassan Piker walks past supporters in a rally in support of Mr. El-Sayed's campaign in East Lansing in April. Hassan Piker campaigns for El-Sayed. In April, Dr. El-Sayed rallied at 2 Michigan universities with Hassan Piker, provocative left-wing streamer with a large following among young progressives. The move injected energy into Dr. El-Sayed's campaign and drew some backlash, crystallizing some of the sharpest fault lines in the race. Some Democrats have condemned Mr. Piker's statements about the Israeli government and its war in Gaza. He previously said it doesn't matter if rapes happen in the Hamas-led October 7 attack on Israel, later adding that in an interview with the New York Times that it doesn't make the genocide acceptable. No, I didn't add that later in the interview. That was in a conversation. That was in conversation. And with the additional context, it was very obvious that that was what I was saying. Jesus Christ, whatever. The New York Times, Mr. Piker once said that America deserved the September 11 terrorist attacks, later apologizing for the comment. Ms. Stevens said after the rallies were announced that it was unacceptable for Dr. El-Sayed to campaign with Mr. Piker. Another candidate, Mallory McGorrow, who has since ended her campaign, also criticized Dr. El-Sayed at the time, a move that ultimately hurt her pitch to progressives and helped him consolidate support on the left. Dr. El-Sayed defended the decision, arguing that Mr. Piker represented a critical younger demographic. I'm not a politician, and I won't stop talking to everyone else who they've locked out, he said in a statement. AIPAC jumps into the race and tensions rise. Dude, that's crazy. It's like 5 big moments, and they put mine as the first. AIPAC jumps into the race and tensions rise. In early June, the main super PAC of the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, the country's most powerful pro-Israel group, started a multi-million-dollar ad campaign backing Ms. Stevens. The spending has been a consistent point of tension in the contest, with Dr. El-Sayed frequently criticizing AIPAC and his support for Ms. Stevens. In a debate on Monday night, Ms. Stevens and Dr. El-Sayed clashed over the influx of outside money. The main super PAC for AIPAC has so far spent more than $30 million boosting Ms. Stevens, according to data from the media tracking firm Ad Impact. Tensions erupted again on Thursday after Dr. El-Sayed said AIPAC had chosen to back the least capable candidate in America, referring to Ms. Stevens in an interview with the online magazine Muslim Girl. In response, Ms. Stevens accused Dr. El-Sayed of wanting to blame all your problems on Jewish Americans. On Saturday, Dr. El-Sayed was critical of Ms. Stevens' comment and told reporters, at the end of the day, I love and revere Judaism and the Jewish people. The candidates are at stark odds over United States support for Israel. Dr. El-Sayed said Israel should not exist as an explicitly Jewish state and has advocated ending U.S. financial assistance to the country. Ms. Stevens supports continuing U.S. military aid to Israel without conditions. Earlier this year, Ms. Stevens was booed at the state Democratic Convention by activists unhappy with her support for Israel. Yeah, state Democratic Convention. By activists, you mean party officials. McMorrow then suspended her campaign. Stick it to him. Stevens goes viral and her accent comes under scrutiny. The candidates clinch high-profile endorsements. I'm just shocked that they talked about her accent, but not that Israel comes to me in my dreams. Do these people ever get tired of being wrong consistently? This would be a more plausible argument if Stevens weren't such a demonstrably terrible candidate. She imploded in the primaries, and if she were the nominee, would likely implode there as well. El Sayed carries risks, but nowhere near as many as Stevens. Yeah. Jonathan Chait, is there a single El Sayed supporter with enough self-awareness to admit that they're willing to accept a higher risk of defeat to elect a left-wing candidate? It's very funny that they are just like, yeah. El Sayed has otherwise been deliberately unapologetic, standing by positions even when they go beyond where some think median voters seem to be. He refused to back down on campaigning with Schumer and Hassan Piker, who said America deserves September 11. A comment Piker has since said he regrets and has called Mao Zedong one of the great leaders of the world, a man who changed the entire universe. Boom, 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 boom. Attack ad after attack ad. He already deflected away from this. He already literally fucking went. Whew. He already judo chopped this, okay? So any kind of like additional, well, you see, he's with Hassan Piker is not going to work. It's just not going to work. You know? You're making Mao Zedong famous in the U.S.? I think Mao Zedong is famous in general. Yeah, here are the Michigan voters' phrases for the word cloud for Haley Stevens, by the way. When respondents are asked what, if anything, they've heard, seen, read recently about Haley Stevens, here are the most common words and phrases they use. Corporate, money, AIPAC, take, support, Israel. I'm noticing that receipts are not one of the words, which is interesting. I'm noticing that receipts are not one of the words. I'm noticing that stick it to them is not a word in the fucking cloud, which is strange because this means that she was defined by us. This means that she was defined by what we wanted her to be defined as, which is, by the way, fair, right? AIPAC should be exactly what defines her, considering that it's the largest outside spender on this race to the tune of $35 million. But this is what Republicans do very effectively towards Democrats. Just so you understand, Democrats, corporate Democrats who cannot define themselves by policies will get defined by their opposition. Now let's look at Abdul's. Medicare, money, women. This obviously has been a negative ad campaign saying Abdul is bad. Okay. I'm noticing that a word that Abdul is not defined by, or rather a tiny word in the word cloud, is Hassan. Perhaps that wasn't a very good line of attack. Hassan. And it being green, I assume, is like both positive and negative. Because if it's red, it means like this is a negative association with him. Right? Criticism, Muslim, in red, women in red. Green, I assume, means neutral. Blue means positive, right? Or does it not mean anything? Yes, I am up there, tiny. Up there, and I guess like the amount, or maybe it doesn't mean anything because UAW is in the red too. There's probably no meaning. Dhoni's still promoting the doc. I saw. So yeah, this word cloud, is a perfect demonstration of the benefits of having policies. When you have policies that you can be defined by, you get to define your own candidacy. When you're just a corporate Democrat, utterly devoid of policies, you are endlessly definable by your opposition. This is a big part of the reason why Democrats lose. Okay? This is why they lose all the fucking time. Here's a candidate who's defining herself aggressively, Francesca Hong.
Abolishing the Defense
Who
Department.
I'm going to be doing a phone bank for in a second. We're going to kickstart that, and then we're going to go out to Canvas outside.
Abolishing the Supreme Court, which are all part of the platform. But there are some bread and butter issues that I want to ask you about that are also in the DSA platform. And it's under a headline, A Day Without Capitalism. And I'm going to read it. Speaking of bills, you don't really have them anymore. You have no debt. You don't have health insurance. You don't pay a mortgage or have a landlord. Food, education, energy, medicine, and transportation aren't for-profit businesses. They are common goods and utilities. Would these be your goals if you were governor of Wisconsin?
I was a small business owner for over 7 years, and I believe in organizing worker power and unions as well. And I think it's important to recognize the practical and sensible solutions that we need right now. And that's permanent affordability. That's ensuring that we've got healthy school meals in our school, that we're raising the minimum wage, that we ensure paid leave, and that everyone has access to fair, cheaper healthcare across our state. And we're building affordable housing. Folks are excited when I talk about a public bank that allows people to actually build more affordable housing, create good union construction jobs, and make sure that our small businesses can thrive.
Yeah, and I that makes perfect sense. But you said this morning that you pay dues to the Democratic Socialist Party, and what they are talking about, at least in part of their platform, is, I mean, it sounds a little bit utopian. I don't know. It depends where your point of view is. That food, education, energy, medicine, transportation would be common goods and utilities.
Hold on.
Is that your ultimate goal? I understand the political realities of being in a purple state, but if you could, would those be the kinds of policies you would be able to implement?
My home chapter, DSA Madison, we have focused so much on making sure that we're helping to meet community needs. And we didn't actually pursue the national DSA endorsement. And as I've mentioned, there aren't things that I completely agree with right now. And I want to focus on building permanent affordability for all Wisconsinites, where people feel like this is a state they belong to. And, you know, being born and raised in my home state and recognizing that this is a place where I can open a business, where I can be a
Uh-oh.
single mom and still feel very cared for in the community. But this isn't the reality for too many people across
Why is my
Wisconsin.
browser
And
limiting my
I
access
think
to the
that
microphone?
for us,
Fuck.
making sure that we're putting working class people first is the type of government we want to build, a government that is a force of good.
You posted a lot about the police back in 2020 and 2021. You wrote,
Chrome.
I
Click the
support
time in the
defunding
bottom
the
right
police
corner
as a
and then
first
click
step towards
settings.
abolishing the police, and that reform can't be an option. I know you say that a governor cannot defund the police and that you do not want to, quote, govern by slogan. I just want to be clear. Does this mean that you no longer believe in the goal of defunding and ultimately abolishing the police that you posted about 5 years ago?
I believe that safety is a human right, that I'm going to be a governor that is more serious about public safety than any other governor. And I'm willing to work with community organizers, faith leaders, local governments where many of our public safety systems are funded. And if anyone believes in defunding the police, it's been Robin
Why
Goss
is it
and the
not
Republicans in the
working?
state legislature who have ruled the legislature for over 16 years and have no qualms around defunding our local governments, where
Okay.
these are folks who provide some of the most essential services in preventing violence and making sure that we're getting guns off of our street. And so to be serious about public safety.
Hey, what's going on,
I'm
guys?
interested in making-
Hi.
I am live right now. So just so you guys know, and I can mute myself if you're, can you hear me? Oh, wait, what the hell?
Hey,
1 second.
I think he's muted.
Yeah.
Because I can hear
It
him in
doesn't
the
say.
stream.
It doesn't say that.
No,
Am I
it's
just dumb?
No, I think his audio is going to the stream instead of the Zoom.
yeah, no, oh
Oh.
shit.
Hold
Hold
OBS doubling up or tripling up.
Hold on. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Okay,
hello.
I don't know
How's it
what's going
going?
on. I hope my audio is fine enough for you guys. I had
It is
there's
now.
like an issue with allowing access to my microphone for some strange reason.
I think we're good now. How are
Okay.
you?
Yeah.
All right, hopefully. I'm live right now, so just so you guys know.
For sure.
And we also have to do a quick exit afterwards to go canvas. So if you guys want, if you're still going through the process right now, I'll I'll meet you guys and then come back in when you want me to, fire up the troops.
Yeah.
That
Thank you so
works.
much for being here, and thank you for having us. This is so exciting. I've been watching you since like 2021, so this is like, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you for all the work you guys are putting in, all the good work you're doing.
Yeah. Thank you. I think we're good to go. I think all we have left is to run through the training, so we definitely can do that with chat. And everyone that's going to phone bank.
Okay, perfect. And how many people have joined so far on the phone bank?
On our side, we have about like, I don't know, 10.
11.
Okay, we got to get those numbers up. That's crazy. That's unacceptable, chat. What are you doing? Get off your ass and smile and dial right now. I know your asses are not in Wisconsin currently, okay? So if you're not up and down the state, you got to get in this phone bank right now and start making some phone calls, Francesca. The entire establishment is consolidating support behind every single opponent they possibly can over and over and over again. A lot of y'all are lazy, it seems. Where link? I mean, we put the link up, haven't we? Do I have a personal link or something that I can
No,
put?
it should be a Zoom link.
Yeah, there's the mobilize.us one, right?
Yeah, that should be it.
Okay, bro, why are you lecturing us?
Once they join,
Man, you think this is just entertainment? I'm lecturing you because this is your opportunity to make some fucking impact, all right?
It's
That's
time to
why I'm
put in the work.
lecturing you.
it's time to elect the very first socialist governor in United States history. And the only way we can
Yeah.
do that is by talking to voters. The other thing that's really exciting about this race is that since the election is coming up so close, and since a lot of the other candidates aren't really doing as much of a ground game as we are, is these might be the only conversations that voters have, and definitely the last conversations these voters will have before going to the ballot box and making their decision. And there's
Yeah.
so many people that are undecided. So these conversations are so, so important.
Yeah, absolutely. You're unmuted? Yeah, I am unmuted. I know. They hear me on the Zoom call as well. What are we? Is it 18, 19? That's not enough. Get those numbers up, Chad. Get in there. Once again, I want people to realize that, like, look, polls are, at the end of the day, utterly irrelevant. Okay? We don't know. We don't know how things are gonna
That's right.
we don't know how things are gonna look like. A lot of people were like confused because they have this attitude that Fran has this in the bag. That's not the case. That's never the case.
We have to lock in. We have to lock in.
Yeah. And
She only has
plus,
it in the back. Oh,
well, sorry, no. The other thing I was going to say is that, like, these phone conversations you're going to have in the primaries are going to also be unbelievably impactful in the general as well. Because
That's right.
someone who you can convert into a voter in the primary will then be a door knocker in the general, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone who will mobilize on Francesca's behalf in the general. So this is incredibly important. It's incredibly important to do this. Non-Wisconsin people can phone bank too, right? Yes.
That's
yes.
right. Yeah.
And
Anywhere around the
don't
country.
worry. Once again, good question, Sir Hype. Yes, there will be talking points that will be given to you guys, and that they're gonna walk you through exactly how to conduct this phone bank. Okay, it's super easy, and if you have any sort of anxiety, you should fear not that the gamification component of these sorts of operations makes it far easier to overcome any sort of anxiety. It's actually very helpful. And it's the same with
That's right.
canvassing too.
I love watching numbers go up. That's always my big like motivation is like how many doors can I knock today? I think well, first of all, I should introduce myself. My name is Phoenix. I'm the region organizer for Up North. So I have the region that a lot of people forget about. It's like Stevens Point, Green Bay, Wausau, Eau Claire, Superior, Hudson. So again, like a lot of people don't think to have conversations with people up here. And so the conversations that we do have are so, so important. And that's the same on the phones. Like the great thing about a phone bank is we can reach people from all over the state from, so a lot of you guys in chat are not even in Wisconsin. And we can talk to these voters no matter where they live and remind them how important this election is, and talk to them about making Wisconsin affordable and a better place to be.
Yeah, and if you're confused about the policies, again, they're gonna give you guys the talking points. So remember, it's a super simple, super easy, and very fun process. But yeah, you guys can take it from here.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I've been admitting people this entire time, so thank you so much. I have one document that I'm just going to send over to Kiana real quick so we can show off some of these policy points that you've been talking about. So I'm just grabbing that really quick.
Okay.
In the meantime, how many of you here, raise your hand in the Zoom? How many of you here have used Scale to Win before?
Damn, hella hands.
That's good. That's good. Scale to Win makes it really easy. Coming back to the Zoom, sorry. Scale to Win makes it really, there's so many more people to admit in the 2 minutes I was gone. This is really cool. Scale to Win makes it really easy because you don't have to wait around for anyone to answer the phone. It literally calls as many people as are calling on the program. So there's 60 people in here right now. The program itself is going to call 60 people all at once. And so you'll be waiting no time at all, and it'll show you like phone puns, which is great. And then it will actually just like, you'll use this computer, like the system that you're using now to be in this Zoom call. You're going to use the same thing to make the calls. And it'll show you a script. Kiana, if you don't mind sharing your screen and showing the Scale to Win, and we'll go through the script real quick. So it'll literally give you the questions that you're supposed to ask. It'll give you the person's information on the right-hand side. and it will literally tell you exactly what to say, and it'll have options to click that are exactly the answers that you'll get. So it's really, really easy to use, and we're gonna go through once we get it working, and we're gonna go through a practice run with the correct scale to win, and we'll go through the script real quick. So I'm getting an echo back somewhere. The questions that you're supposed to ask, it'll give you the person's information on the right hand side. And it'll tell you.
They're gonna DM them, the person who was like on the phone.
All right. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. It's going to give you the name of the information of the person on the right, and then that white box right there is exactly what you say on the phone. So, hi, is this person? Hi, my name is X with the Fran Hong for Governor campaign. How are you today? And then we're just going to let them know that Fran Hong is an option in this race. We're going to talk them through the talking points if they've never heard. So I usually start with like, have you heard of her before? And then we know where to start. But the biggest talking points that we have are, and I know Hassan, you've been covering this a lot, so I know that a lot of you guys have probably heard all of this before, but we're going to review it anyway. The biggest things is that she wants to cut property taxes by 44% while still fully funding public education. And she's going to do that by taxing the rich and ending, or at least working towards ending, the voucher system. Not only that, but she is the only one that has not taken AI data center money. She's the only one sticking up against AI data centers. So those 2 points right there just show that she is for the working class more than any other candidate. So if someone has never heard of her, we can use those 2 things. The other thing is, once we know that they are pro Fran, we're going to talk about, okay, well, do you have a plan to vote? There's 3 ways you can vote in Wisconsin. You can early vote in person. You can vote by absentee ballot, which you'll probably already have mailed to you if you're going to do that, or you can vote on election day. If you're going to absentee vote in person, anyone can do that. Like, even if you're going to be in town on election day, you can go usually to your local city hall, and that's going to be this upcoming Monday through Friday, to go vote, to skip the lines. It's honestly amazing. It's the best. So we're going to ask people, what are your plan to vote? If they have their mail-in ballot, we're going to tell them, like, you need to get that back in the mail ASAP. Wisconsin doesn't really care about postmark dates, so we just need to get those ballots back to the Wisconsin Election Committee, like, as soon as possible, so they can get counted. So we're going to encourage people also to vote this upcoming week, Monday through Friday. We're going to remind people that they probably cannot early vote the day before Election Day, which is the following Monday, August 10th, because those early vote locations close to get ready for Election Day. But the other thing is, they can obviously go vote on Election Day at their regular polling place, which will be listed right there on that right side where their information is. That is not the early vote location. That is just Election Day location. The early vote location is usually just whatever closest city hall they have. Is there any questions? Did I skip anything? Was that too fast?
You can take it now.
Check chat. Okay, cool. Kiana, do you mind clicking through a little bit more of this script? So, like, hi, is this person? Then we would click talking to correct person if we do in fact have the correct person. And then we ask, like, have you chosen who you're going to pick for your candidate on this August 11th? And again, if they say, oh, I'm going to vote Francesca Hong, then we can go right into that. Well, what's your plan for when you're going to vote, how you're going to vote? But then, so then we have the different options. If you go back, I assume the links will be posted when the time comes. Yes, we will post the scale to win. I'm just going through a little bit of training first. Can we get the PDF of talking points with Francesca Hong in case people debate?
Let me get you that.
Yes. So this is like, oh, go ahead.
Oh, another thing is, if you go to HTTPS/, oh, hold on. Francesca.
No need to be nervous.
Hong.com. Don't. Everyone I've talked to has said that these are the nicest people that they've ever spoken to ever.
There was some survey that was done recently nationally about like what states are the best at everything, and the only thing Wisconsin won was that they are the nicest people. Like, I was doing this phone bank before, and someone was like mad that I was calling them, but they still were like, "Thank you so much. Have a great day." And like
Are we
you
leaving?
will not believe how nice these voters are, these
Okay.
people that we're going to be talking to today.
Yeah.
And we drink a lot of beer. That is also correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so I put it inside chat. This is a condensed version of Francesca Hong's Hong.com policy page,
Right.
which is the most in-depth policy platform that I've personally ever seen. She has a lot of stuff. If you don't have something here, I highly recommend checking this out, seeing if you can actually find the information. You don't need to like be perfect or know everything. You just need to know where to find things, and people are more than happy to wait a couple seconds so that you can find the information for them.
Yeah, so you don't need to know every single policy point. We're also not here to debate bro anyone. You're also welcome to tell people that they are also welcome to check out the website themselves. What do we do if people have a terrible phone connection? This was a common issue when I did calls for New York candidates. Your best.
What? Okay. It's decided I'm no longer allowed to paste a link.
That's okay. Someone else has pasted it in chat. I think we're good.
Bless you. And then we also have this document that was written up.
Some people
We're
are
also put the one link there.
Oh wait,
when
what
the
hell?
time comes.
Oh, the mic is gone. I can't even speak anymore in their chat.
Yeah, so like a lot of exciting policies. Again, she wants to increase the minimum wage, fully fund public education, universal paid leave, universal child care.
By the way, some people are having, sorry to cut you guys off, I have to leave soon, and also some people are having issues joining the call apparently.
Oh no.
Yeah.
4 people entered the waiting room. That's my bad.
Okay, no, it's all good. And yeah, I have like maybe 8 more minutes until I have to go to a Canvas launch.
Cool. Well, Hassan, thank you again so much. I hope to meet you tonight. Really, really appreciate your help and how much you've been covering this race. It's been really, really exciting and cool to see.
Oh yeah, of course. And this has been very helpful for me as well. You know, this is it's great to refresh the talking points as we go out in a second.
Yeah. The property taxes, the lowering property taxes goes hard on the doors. Like if someone is a homeowner, they love to hear their property taxes go down. And then sometimes they're like, but I'm worried about like how they're going to fund all that then. And then you can just say, well, she's going to tax the rich. Yeah. Okay. So I think everyone is in now. So talking to correct person, Kiana, go ahead and click that again.
Yes.
And then if we go to undecided, if someone's like, well, I've heard of all these candidates, I don't know who I'm going to going to vote for yet. That's when we go through the spiel and talk about her wonderful policy points.
It's important to note the only people who are currently in the race are Crowley, Brennan, and Royce.
That's true.
If they say Barnes, Rodriguez, or who else? Hughes, I think. They're not in the race.
That's true.
It's probably really important to
I think
own
people
that.
know that for the most part.
I don't.
How do we define rich? That's a great question. That's something that we can look at on her website. She did just come out with her tax the rich like full policy. So it might be under, if you like do the policy drop down, there's
your support for Hong for governor in the August 11th primary.
Sorry?
Oh, I think somebody started a call. I want to mute.
Yeah, okay, so if you do want to start making calls, we can drop that scale to win in the chat. And then you're also welcome to deafen this call. So there's a little arrow right next to the microphone.
All right.
You can click
I'm
that,
gonna
and
end
then
it
you can
here.
click
Or I'm not
leave
gonna end the
computer
stream,
audio.
but I'm gonna
And then if we're talking, it's not going to
leave the
disrupt
call
your
now.
phone
Chat.
call.
But you guys, oops, hold on. I'm gonna end the call here. But the call is still going on. If you're following along the stream on the one monitor, you can make those calls easily on the other monitor. Keep phone banking, and we're gonna go out and do some canvas work now. Okay. So I'll play off this Francesca Hong video for y'all. Yeah, I'll see you on the other side in like a sec.
Sure that we are being tough on the causes if we're going to be tough on crime, and make sure that we build community safety all across the state.
Did your opinion change then on defunding the police?
That I think that people can evolve, that I am going to be a sensible and practical government and governor that is going to make sure that public safety is a priority and
so
actually
you evolved on
serious safety. I think that what my values are where some of my beliefs are as well. But where my values are is in, making sure that public safety is for everyone, that everyone has access to it. And I think that, what I've believed in the past, like that can evolve, but I still know that I cannot defund police as governor. And what I want to do is making sure that we're fully funding and investing in the community programs that we know actually work, that data shows builds community safety. And again, the belief that I have, the values that I hold, is that everyone has a right to feel safe and be safe.
I just want to sort of put a fine point on it. You said your views can evolve. Have your views actually evolved on defunding the police?
We had a police shooting in my hometown of Madison, Wisconsin. It's actually the third one to happen on Willie Street, which is in my district. And it's difficult for me to think about what I would say to a mother who has lost their children to police violence. But I know that we can change these systems that must be changed. There are folks who work in prisons. They have some of the highest suicide rates for any employment, that we need to make sure that every incarcerated person can live a life of dignity, that 99% of incarcerated folks in our state will be going into community. And we have to lower those recidivism rates, and make sure to invest in mental health resources, in tackling the opioid opioid epidemic.
Yeah.
And I think that when we have a governor that believes in those things, we can achieve public safety.
Okay. I didn't hear a yes or a no there, but let's move on. A reporter asked your likely Republican opponent, Tom Tiffany, yesterday about what he would say to a voter undecided between you and him. Listen to what he said.
Tom Tiffany, he is one of us. I grew up in this state. I raised my family in this state. Me and my wife had a small business in this state. I love this state.
As you mentioned in this interview, you were born and raised in Madison, Wisconsin. You're raising your son there. You started a business there. What do you think he meant?
I hope this is a voter that I can meet, that they understand that not only am I somebody who's relatable and has a lived experience to fight for making sure that all of these things are available to everyone across the state, but I believe that, the support from Republicans, independents, folks who want to challenge the status quo and know that this economy is rigged against working class people. I'm not sure why he may have said that, but I certainly want to meet him and make sure that we have a conversation and that he knows who Tom Tiffany is. Tom Tiffany is a pedophile protector. He wants to rip food away from our children, and he will be a puppet for the Trump regime, and he won't put Wisconsinites first. He'll put that interest of special interest corporation, and they call him Mr. Mining because he has no concern around the environmental impact of mining or in making sure that we're not selling out our natural resources to billionaires and tech corporations. And I will say, too, that he does not support a moratorium on the construction of AI data centers. And that is not only legislation that I've introduced, but it is a deeply bipartisan issue where folks know that they don't want these in their communities. And I don't think that Tom Tiffany would be a candidate who cares about that at all.
assuming that you do, in fact, win your primary on August 11th, this is going to be a very interesting race. Thank you for being on. I appreciate it. I'm glad it all worked out today, and I hope you come back.
Dana, I will absolutely be back.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having me.
And joining us now is Abdul El Sayed, Democratic candidate for the U.S. Senate in Michigan, in his only TV hit today. Abdul, thank you for coming to the weekend. I want to put up an Emerson poll, the latest Emerson poll, which I'm sure you are very familiar with and very happy about. You are leading Haley Stevens 54 to 39, 6% undecided. The margin of error, however, is 5.2%, so we should keep that in mind. I bring that up because the last Senate race in Michigan was in 2024, when now Senator Alyssa Slotkin, the Democratic senator from Michigan, beat Mike Rogers, the presumptive Republican nominee, who you might have to face. She only beat him by 21,775 votes. And she is a hard square, moderate Democrat. Why do you think you will also succeed in beating Mike Rogers, who is, you know, even though he lost to Alyssa Slotkin, he's not unknown and he's not, quote unquote, unpopular?
First, thank you all for having me and squeezing me in here before I go to church this morning. Really, really grateful to be with you. And look, polls don't vote, people do. And we're building a grassroots movement of people believing that we can get money out of politics, put money in your pocket, pass Medicare for all. Think about the matchup with Mike Rogers here. This is a guy who spent his 14 years in Congress doing every single errand that the pharmaceutical industry and big tech industry could ask him of. So much so that he helped to architect, literally sponsored and introduced the legislation that kicked off the opioid epidemic that killed 600,000 Americans. Chances are people watching probably know somebody. I know I do. But this is because he has never seen a corporate PAC check he doesn't want. And the reality of it is I'm the only candidate who's never taken a dime from a corporation, only candidate who stood up and said that we need to take these folks on, and because I'm not bought by them, I actually have the opportunity to stand up and regulate them. I think Michiganders want somebody who's going to stand up and fight for them against the corporations who've nickeled and dimed us, kicked off terrible epidemics that killed our kids, killed our parents, killed our neighbors. And is willing to say what we really can have. We can have a movement where we finally guarantee every single person health care, stop sending our money to drop bombs somewhere else, start building our schools and our roads, and investing in one another.
Abdul, thank you so much for coming on this morning. Your race obviously has exposed, more so than any other race in the country right now, a major intra-party debate in the Democratic Party over the issue of Israel. Your campaign has been largely and loudly populist, but also anti-Zionist. And you've sort of married those two things, equating funding for Israel with underfunding healthcare, for example. Are you worried that framing, juxtaposing the Jewish funding for the Jewish state against the needs of, in your own words, our own people, echoes an old anti-Semitic trope?
Let me just be very, very clear. You know who benefits from guaranteed health care in this country? Jewish Americans. The idea that somehow we are going to use the specter of anti-Semitism to defend what a foreign government is doing actually does a deep disservice to the well-being of Jewish Americans in this country. Judaism and the Jewish people are a light unto the world, beautiful faith, beautiful people. The contributions that they've made to this country alone are staggering. And I'm looking forward to standing with the Jewish community against anti-Semitism. After all, anti-Semitism and Islamophobia are one in the same, and we need to take them on.
Just turn it back. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I forgot. Okay. We're back. Mike was gracious enough.